Hop along, guys, Commander here, and welcome to my first impressions and opinions review on the Clone Trooper Legions update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, I mentioned this in the Anakin Skywalker Chosen One update video that I did last episode, that I would be doing this video at some point, but I didn't know when it is, so this is me doing it now. Now, this is going to go a little bit different to how I would normally do it. I'm basically just going to wing this and see where it goes, because I've got no, like, schedule for how, this is going to go. I know where I want it to go, because I got all the phase 1s, I got some of the phase 2s. Somehow I've got some of the phase 2s, but, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I've got, I'm going to go through, each Legion skin for the phase 1 and phase 2, basically give my opinion on them. Now, as just a general thing from what I've seen, because I've done all this down on my Xbox already. I'm using the PC at the moment to play Battlefront on the PC, and this is where I've got to at the moment. So I know what they all look like, which is why I'm a little bit, like, struggling to know actually exactly how this video is going to go, because I know exactly what they look like. What's a Sentinel Core? Okay, that was the original default appearance. So, basically, the main overhaul of what has actually happened in this update is, first things first, the default appearance is now what's known as the shinies, so the white clone troopers, and that's to say, so the default appearance. I'm not sure if have we got default appearance for phase 1? No, we don't. Okay, right. This is sort of my bugbear with this new update, and this is the reason why. This just rang in my head when I was going through the default phase 1. They're in the default phase 1, and the reason for this is because you can now play phase 1 and phase 2 all in one Clone Wars era map together. So not only could you have, like, the 501st, the 41st, and the 212th all on one map, but you could now have the 501st, 41st, and 212th phase 1 and phase 2 on the same map. Why EA and DICE thought that would be a good idea, I do not have a single clue whatsoever. Because in my eyes, this game is an FPS game, not an RTS. Fair enough, if it was an RTS game, yes, that would make a bit of sense. Like the Old Republic or Clone Wars Adventures, which I've done a video on already because it's coming back and whatever else. But that's an RTS game, so you can have, like, Jedi robes with a clone trooper helmet and Mandalorian boots and droid arms and whatever else. It doesn't work in a game like this because it's an FPS game. It's supposed to follow a Star Wars game and how Star Wars is meant to be. So having phase 1 and phase 2 on the battlefield at the same time is not, in my eyes, a very good idea. And when I'm playing on my Xbox, I now see, like, phase 1 shinies and no, phase 2 shinies and then phase 1 212th running around. It really bugs me. So it's not the one that it's just bad, it's not what I think should be. Like, I don't think that should be there, essentially. And it should just be like phase 1, phase 2. I can just about muster having different leaders on the battlefield, because, like, as far as Star Wars is concerned, like, you could just put it into like agreements that you've got. You can have multiple legions on the battlefield at once. You know, I can sort of understand that, and I can look past that. But seeing phase 1 and phase 2 on the battlefield at the same time, no, thank you. That's not. I don't like that at all. But anyway, so let's go through the different clone legions. So this is the 181st. Now this was the default appearance for Kashyyyk. So there's not really much else to say about that. If we just go inspect a minute. Now I'm just going to go over. There's nothing that's actually changed with the actual modelling of the clones themselves. It's just the markings. But this one hadn't really changed too much because it's literally just as it is. The 87th Sentinel Core, that is, again, it was the default appearance for Naboo, and what are the Clone Wars maps? We've got Naboo, we've got Kashyyyk. I honestly can't remember. 104th Clone Battalion, this is the Wolf, otherwise known as the Wolf Pack. Phase 1, I don't know why, but The phase 1 looks like... I prefer phase 1 to phase 2 somehow. Like, if we go to phase 2 a minute... I don't know. Like, maybe it's because it more closely resembles a stormtrooper, but... Like, especially in the movies, I always preferred the, phase 1. I think the phase 1 looks cool. Especially, the helmet is what does it for me. But the phase 1 helmet always looks cooler for me. I mean, I've got a shiny, like, what the default appearance is in phase 1. Helmet. So I've got a clone trooper helmet, phase 1 white one up in my house somewhere. But I always liked the phase 1. The phase 1 always sort of like that was the better one for me. When we get into the Clone Wars TV show, I do definitely prefer the phase 2 because for some reason the phase 1 clone troopers in the Clone Wars TV show just don't look right. Maybe it's because they're thinner and they're not so thick as the ones in the movies, but oh well. 212th attack battalion. This is the phase 1. Looks nice. I mean, again, the phase 1 212th we only see in a couple episodes, like the 501st Legion. We don't see them phase 1 much. We see it more with the 212th, but the 501st, I think the only episodes you see him in actual Orange. Sorry, the 501st. The only time you see these guys in the Clone Wars TV show, you don't ever see them at all in the movies. But the only time you see these guys with these markings on in the Clone Wars TV shows, I think it's the Citadel episode. There's another one. I can't remember for the life of me what it was. It's the one where Ahsoka goes missing. Padawan lost. That's the only one. I think those are the only two that you see the 501st Legion in as their phase 1 markings. All the other episodes are either white troopers or it's the phase 2. And the phase 2 501st, all the episodes with them in it is blue markings all the way. I think the Ryloth episodes you see, maybe a Ryloth episode or 2. I know the Citadel one, you definitely see these guys in, because 200 shot are there as well as the 501st. Yeah, no, I'm not. I like it. I mean, I'm not sure which. I mean, the Wolf Pack, 104th Battalion, you do actually see quite early on in the Clone Wars, but instead of it being grey, they've got brown markings. So it's basically exactly the same as this, except it's brown and not grey. So you do see the Wolf Pack quite early on in the seasons. I think they were the worst. Sorry, no, not the worst. The first clones that actually got their own Legion like appearances in the Clone Wars TV show, maybe. 327th Star Corps. This is Commander Bly's Commander Bly's Legion, the 327th Star Corps. Yeah, Jedi Ezio and Commander Bly. You don't ever see the phase 1s in the Clone Wars TV show with these markings on. You see the clone commander, I think it's commander, in Attack of the Clones on Geonosis. That's when you see this skin. But aside from that, you don't actually see it in the Clone Wars, I don't think. I'm pretty sure you don't. You definitely see the phase 2, though, in the movie as well. 41st Elite Corps. Who is this? This is the, oh, is this phase 1 of the 41st? Of the original... That's the 87th. 41st Elite Corps. 41st Ranger Platoon. Okay. Because these are sort of... Okay, so I think... Okay, so these are basically... These are basically the phase 1 of... the 41st Attack Ranger Battalion, but they are basically the same colour as the the 87th... No, was it? Yeah, the 181st Armour Division. So, and then the 41st Ranger Battalion is the camouflaged skin, which is the same as Commander Gree. 501st Legion, again, we've been over this previously before. You only see these in a few episodes in the Clone Wars TV show. You don't ever see it at all in the movies, but I think it looks quite nice. Again, a lot of the phase 1s are just like themselves as far as armor's concerned, and they're just different coloured markings. 91st Recon Troops, they're literally just like... There's not a lot... In all fairness, like, I would say that this is lazy, the 91st Recon Troops, but they don't actually have any markings at all. The phase 2 ones, then they definitely look good. Coruscant Guard, I actually really like this. Like, a lot of people turned and said, you know, let's just inspect this a minute and go down a bit further. A lot of people said that this one was sort of like not how they expected it, and sort of looked wrong. I think it looks quite good, resembling to the one you see in the Clone Wars TV show. Because you don't see these very much in the Clone Wars TV show. You only see them for a couple of episodes. You mainly see the Phase 2 ones. But the Phase 2 ones are basically the shock troopers, the stormtrooper shock troopers. But no, I think that looks fine. I've not got a problem with that, actually. I think that looks quite good. 104th Battalion, that's the Wolfpack Phase 2. Now, by the Phase 2, the Wolfpack had actually got their grey markings and were grey. So that's all good. 212th, again, 212th is 212th. You see these quite a lot in the Umbara arc, the same as the 501st. The Umbara arc is where the Phase 2 skins definitely shone a massive light. 327th Star Corps, again, these are just, it basically looks like Commander Bly. You don't ever see it in the Clone Wars TV show, but you see it in the movies when Order 66 is enacted. 41st Elite Corps, again, is just basically, I've never seen this one before. It says, on behalf of the Galactic Corps, the 41st Elite Corps forged many alliances with the indigenous populations of worlds threatened by Separatist army. Most notably, Jedi Master Yoda, the 41st came to the aid of the Wookiee worlds defending their Wookiee Kashyyyk. That, I've never seen that one before, because it's normally the green default appearance that was originally, but I don't know. Then you got 41st Ranger Platoon, which is basically like the Commander Gree sort of skin. 501st Legion, same as the 212th. You see this quite a lot in the Clone Wars TV show. And again in Revenge of the Sith during Order 66, because they're 501st are the ones that sort of shone the light on and took the major blow with the Jedi Order and the execution of Order 66. 91st Recon Troops, this is the one that I'm actually really impressed with, because the Phase 2 one was literally just like, let's say, the 501st Legion, but with that marking, but they've actually changed the helmet to make it more symbiotic to Revenge of the Sith and what it was in Revenge of the Sith. So that I'm really impressed with as well, but again, it's just like a little marking, so there's not really much there. Shock Trooper, Coruscant Guard Phase 2, I really like this. This is the Shock Trooper. My favourite clone skins are probably the Shock Trooper, the 501st, the 212th. I think they're my favourite, the favourite clone legions. Probably follow closely behind the 327th Star Corps, because they actually look pretty cool. But the 501st, 212th, and Coruscant Guard are actually my most favourite clone skins that I've got, that are actually in this game in general. 501st are the ones that I use the most, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go the Heavy. Now, if you remember beforehand, I did say that the Heavy was probably what I would consider the laziest appearance collection. Now, I haven't actually gone through all of these to see. I've gone through all of the Assault because they were the base. They were the base ones, but I want to go through these ones to see how different they are. Because if you look, like, that you could say is just damn lazy, because that is just the default appearance with just green markings, right? And I know these are the default appearances, which is why I'm not too irritated by it. But same with the Sentinel Corps. If you look at Sentinel Corps and the 100 and the Armor Division, they're basically the exact same skins, just with different colorations. But as soon as you go to the 104th Clone Battalion, it's actually just different. Like, the markings are in different positions. Remember, this is the first, the Phase 1 edition, but the markings are actually different. We'll go 212th. The markings are different. That looks really cool, because that looks like Commander Cody a little bit. I really do quite like that. But the markings are different. We go to 227th Star Corps. Markings are different. Not by a lot, but this one, again, yes, you could say that if we go Phase 1, yes, the markings are sort of lazy, because they are basically the exact same for Phase 1. But again, with Phase 1, like, there's not an awful lot you could do with it. It's Phase 2 that really irritated me in that regard. 41st Ranger Battalion, there's not really a lot you could really have done with that. 501st, again, just saying Phase 1-wise. 91st Recon Troop, yeah. And then Coruscant Guard's exactly the same as the Assault. But then we get into phase 2, and this is where the customization changes actually really shine. Really shine through. Because if we look, so got different colorations in the helmet between phase 1 and phase 2, which is nice. It got 212, which I can't explain to you, excuse me, how good that looks. Because it's different. Like, they're not the same. We're going to 327th. It's different. We've got a shoulder pad. We've got little, like, bags and different things connected to different parts of the trooper. The markings are different. Like, this is variation. Like, beforehand, if it wasn't for the fact that I really liked clone trooper appearances, I wouldn't have bought them for the heavy, because they're literally the exact same skin and the exact same markings, but with different colors. It was the most laziest thing that EA and DICE did. Again, 41st Clone Battalion, exactly the exact same color, and different coloration, different like markings. 41st Ranger Battalion, even though you can't really do much with the colorization, the bags, the shoulder pads, everything it looks different. Heavy, exactly the same. Yes, it has still got the same equipment, but it looks different. 91st Clone Battalion, again, there's not a lot you could really do with this except for the visor, which I don't really like that. I know they got to follow on with the thing of having the little visor thing on the front. But I don't like that with that helmet. Doesn't look really very good. That's just my personal opinion. But you've got like just the markers. You can't really do much with the 91st. But Course and Guard, that looks really good. Oh, that is really cool. I don't know why. That's just really shocked me actually. That's really good. That looks really symbiotic to Commander Fox actually from the Clone Wars. That is really cool. But yeah, so the heavy is the one that I said was the laziest, but it's shone through with this new update. I think it was really cool. Anyway, we've got default, so officer class. Now this is a new, brand new, altogether new, clone trooper skins that they said they were going to have like a few months ago when they first announced the Clone Wars season. So we got the default, what is now the default appearance, the Navy officer, which was the original default, so I'm glad we can still play as that. 81st Armored Division, that's still quite cool. I like that. That was basically the default green, green one. 87th, that actually looks like different, but that's more like shock trooper sort of thing. I mean, it's the same, it's the right coloration, but it's nice. But again, even just between like the 87th and the 181st, the equipment's different, which is nice. I like that. Phase 1, again, the Phase 1 clone troopers are basically exactly the same, because you can't really do much with Phase 1. You could add a few different colorations, I suppose, but as Course and Guide, again, it's exactly the same color markings. 212, that looks quite nice actually. I do like that. That coloration's nice, and the markings. I also like how it's not just like one strip straight down. You got the little like markings different on the face area. That looks nice. I'm not sure now. If I just scroll in here now, I had to actually look at this twice because I thought I was seeing something that I actually wasn't. This bit here. So if you looked at the old Clone Trooper skins, the 327th Clone Legion skins, this bit and this bit on the helmet and on the chest plate was the same color as the default skin, but for some reason, and that's the reason what started the massive uproar with the clone skins, because I mentioned that when I did my first impressions opinions review on whatever update was. I think it was the General Grievous update when they released the skin. But when I reviewed it, I said, that wasn't right. That wasn't accurate at all. But for some reason, like, I looked at it and I thought, hang on a minute, that's exactly the same as it was before. It's not. It's just a darker gold. But why they chose to make it darker gold, I'm not entirely sure. I think they should have stuck with yellow. I think that would have made it, like, a lot better, a lot nicer. 41st, again, that looks pretty cool. I do like that. I like the facial markings. Chest plate's pretty much exactly the same as the other legions, which you can expect. Helmet looks nice. 41st Ranger Battalion, again, you can't really do too much with that. 501st, again, is just like 501st, looks exactly the same as all the other legions, but that's fine. Nice first clone core. Again, you can't really do too much with the skin. And Coruscant Guard Shock Trooper. Again, it looks nice. It's nice. I like the ones with more like armor on them. I think that looks better, personally. And last but certainly not least is the specialist. Alright, where are we? Appearances. And Galactic Republic. Again, these ones, I'm just going to quickly skim through these because there isn't actually like a lot of like armor marking colorizations on them. Skip past phase 1s. Yeah, that looks nice. I like the different coloration. I like the jaggedness on the top of the chest plate and on the helmet as well. That looks nice. Different bit of color, different markings on the 212, 327th. Again, the officer is the only one that has the darker chest piece and the mark on the helmet. None of the others have that. It's all like that lighter yellow. Why they would do that, I don't know. EA DICE, sort your mess out, please. Void First, again, it's just like, there's not really a lot you could do. I don't recognize that Clone Legion at all, really. 41st, again, there's not really a lot you could do with it, really. 501st, again, it is 501st. They all look pretty much the same by this point. 91st, yeah. And then the Shock Trooper, the Coruscant Guard. Yeah, I suppose it looks alright. Yeah, so that's basically all of the Clone Trooper appearances, just all like how I would review them. Now, I personally, I like them. 90% of them I like. There's a few of them that are a little bit off, but I can let that slide. I really don't like the ability to have phase 1 and phase 2 all in the same map. That really bugs me and I don't like it. I actually wonder, I do actually wonder if you can actually, because I always thought the customization settings were for arcade, let's say, because I really hope this new large-scale game mode is available in arcade. I really sincerely hope that they do that. But this new large-scale game mode, if you can have it in arcade, I really hope that you can actually toggle your Clone Trooper appearances to have it, let's say, just 501st or just 212th. I think there's a mod for that, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. But if you could like, let's say, have it all shinies for your appearances and have it all shinies in arcade, I think that would be sort of like a little bit of a bit of a upside in my books, but I still don't like it. I still like the fact that you can play your phase 1 and phase 2 all in one map, all in one game. It really doesn't look very, very good. In my personal opinion anyway. So anyway, having said all that, that's what we have time for in this video here. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you have any like different opinions or any similar opinions to me about the Clone Trooper update, leave it in the comment section down below and I'll reply to as many of you as I can. And I hope you guys have enjoyed and I shall see you all later. Bye!